Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to another insightful webinar organized here by us at Secure Intelligence Limited. My name is Iyenu Konga Omowa, and today on this webinar, we're going to be talking, as part of our well-architected series, we're going to be talking on enhancing security and compliance with the AWS well-architected best practices. Please note that as we go forward, we have a few housekeeping rules for you to adhere to in order to have for us to have basically a smooth webinar. So first on just in case for any reason you have to move during the course of the webinar, not to worry, you can go on our YouTube channel. There's a recording there, and you can just watch that recording to your heart's content. Attendees can react or raise their hands during presentation. Other engagements required from attendees is at the discretion of the presenter. If you have any questions, please use the question and answer comment section during this session, and we'll have them answered at the end of this webinar. Also note that you can check the question and answer comment section for a calendar link just in case you need a consultation, you want to know more about our service offerings, or you want to know more about what we just talked about concerning the well-architected and framework review. You can click on that calendar link. It will take you to a Google Calendar where you can book a meeting or a consultation meeting with myself, and then I will join you and we can chat and discuss all the questions that you have. We are at Secure Intelligence Limited, and we're also SEAL teams. We're solution builders. We apply technology to drive effectiveness, agility, and growth for businesses. Our business is positioned on four pillars to help enterprises scale globally, and these four pillars are the global mindset pillar, the multi-cloud competence pillar, the agility pillar, and the growth pillar. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce you to our speaker today. His name is Moshood Adams, and he's a cloud engineer here with us at Secure Intelligence Limited. He's also a well-architected framework expert. So please, I would leave you in the hands of Moshood, and as he takes you on the journey of enhancing your security and the best practices you can use with the AWS well-architected review. Hi, Moshood.
Hello, Queen. Thank you for that warm introduction. Like she said, my name is Moshood Adams. I am a cloud engineer at Secure Intelligence Limited. I'll be going through the agenda that we have for today. So we'll be looking at an overview of the AWS Well-Architected Framework. We'll be looking at a concept of security as an AWS Well-Architected Framework pillar, the security benefits of the AWS Well-Architected Framework. We'll also be looking at the security design principles in AWS Well-Architected Framework. We'll be looking at the compliance benefits of the AWS Well-Architected Framework. Also, we'll be looking at AWS services for compliance check. Then after that, we'll be having a live demo where I'll be creating a custom AWS config rule, and I'll be applying an automatic remediation. And lastly, we'll be looking at building robust, secure, and compliant architecture. So next slide, please. So I want to direct this to you, my audience. So when you look at your workload that your team is building or you have in a cloud, how confidently can you answer this question? Are you well architected? Okay, before I have a deep dive into my presentation today, please, once you have a question, please put it in the in-call message, like Queen said, so that you won't forget. So that once I'm done with this presentation, we'll be having a question and answer session. So once you have any question, once anything crosses your mind and you want an explanation to that, please kindly put it in the in-call message so that I can attend to it at the end of this session. So like I was saying, okay, so we'll be looking at the AWS Well-Architected Framework. So this is a collection of best practices for designing, deploying, and operating secure, high-performing, cost-optimized, and reliable infrastructure for your application. So when you add that to this collection of best practices, It will help you to design, deploy, operate a secure, high-performing, cost-optimized, and reliable infrastructure for your application on AWS. So this AWS framework is very, very important because very people know about this AWS architected framework. So it is a standard. So you must make use of it for you to have a secure, high-performing, cost-optimized, and reliable infrastructure for your application on AWS. So this AWS well-architected framework is an iterative process. So when you adapt to this framework, it will help you to be successful in your journey. So like I was saying, it is an iterative process in the sense that when you have your workload in the cloud, your workloads are constantly working. They are sending in data and they are sending out data. They are storing your files, your servers are running. So this means that they are constantly in a dynamic state. So that is why you have to adhere to this well-architected framework, because it is an iterative process. It is continuously working. So when this framework is continuously working, it will help you track any change. It will help you have all these benefits that I listed above, having a secure, high-performing, cost-optimized, and reliable infrastructure for your application. So we have verticals in AWS Well-Architected Framework. We have the lane. So this is you learning the best practices and strategies for your cloud journey. We also have measure. So this is going to help you measure your architecture against the best practices that you learned. And finally, we have the improve. This improve will help you improve your architecture by addressing the issues that you found out when you measure your architecture against best practices. Next slide, please. So we have 6 pillars of the AWS Well-Architected Framework. So when you adapt to these 6 pillars, it will help you have a secure, cost-optimized, reliable, performance efficient workload in cloud. So these pillars are operational excellence, security, reliability, performance efficiency, cost optimization, and sustainability. So for the operational excellence, when you adapt to this pillar, this pillar helps you to run and manage and monitor the production workload for you to be able to deliver your business value and continuously improve your processes and events. So like I said, that AWS Well-Architected Framework is an iterative process. Can you see that continuous is included here? So all these pillars, they are continuous. They are all constantly working on achieving what they are designed for. So for this operational excellence, it is actually designed for you to run and manage and monitor your production workload for you to be able to deliver your business value and improve your processes and events. Also, is security. So this is you protecting. This is going to help you protect your information system and asset and everything you have on the cloud from the outside world. Reliability is about you being able to automatically recover your workload from infrastructure, power, or system failures with dynamic resource management. So you have to once you adapt to this, all these dynamic resource management will help you to meet your operational work threshold. Also is our performance efficiencies. So this pillar sets out to use computing to make it possible for you to use your computing resources efficiently to support your demand changes. So when you have any demand change, you'll be able to use your workload optimally. It will make it possible for you to deliver meet your maximum performance to meet your service level agreements. Also is our cost optimization. So when you adapt to this pillar, this pillar will help you to avoid and eliminate unwanted costs. So it will help you replace resources that you are running that are not cost effective without it impacting the best practices and your business needs. And lastly is our sustainability. So this is minimizing the environmental impact that your workload will give out. So it will help you minimize and reduce the environmental impact of your workload. Next slide, please. So we'll be looking at the concept of security as an AWS Well-Architected Framework pillar. So this security pillar describes how to take advantage of cloud technologies to protect your data, your system, and assets in a way that can improve your security posture. Like I said, it is an iterative pillar. Every pillar in AWS Well-Architected Framework, they are all iterative. They are continuously running. So for the security, it is you taking advantage of cloud technologies to protect your data, systems, assets in a way that can improve your security posture. Next slide, please. So we'll be looking at security benefits of the AWS Well-Architected Framework. We have a proactive security posture. So when you follow this security pillar, the organization can continuously assess and improve the security posture. Like I've been saying that it is all of the pillars in AWS Well-Architected, they are continuous, they are always working. So when you add that to this pillar, it will help you to continuously assess and improve your security posture. Also is a framework integration. AWS services, there are so many AWS services that are designed to work together, that their purpose is to provide you a comprehensive security solutions. Some of these solutions include identity management, data protection, continuous monitoring. And lastly, a benefit of the security as a well-architected framework is best practices. So this framework includes best practices for securing your application and data, ensuring compliance with regulation and standards. There are so many standards out there, standards written by international standard organizations. That's this AWS Well-Architected Framework pillar is in alignment with. So when you make use of all this framework, it will help you achieve secure workload. Your application and your data, they are secure because this framework is actually in alignment with international standards and regulation. Next slide, please. So we have design principles in AWS Well-Architected Framework. So design principles are map or a guideline on how to achieve that pillar. Like I said, we have 6 well-architected framework pillars. Like I mentioned the security being part of the AWS Well-Architected pillar. So these design principles, what they set out, what they are about is they act as a roadmap or a guide for you to achieve that all the pillars in AWS Well-Architected. So we have security design principles for you to be able to achieve AWS Well-Architected security. To adapt to it, you must implement all this following. So we have identity and access management. Under identity and access management, we have the principle of least privilege. This is ensuring that your users and your systems, they have the minimum access required to perform their functions. So you don't give them the access to perform what is actually not their functions. So you only specify minimum access for them to carry out their function. You don't give an EC2 the permission of another service. You only give it the permission of what is intended to do. So an example is having an EC2 server sending in data into an relational database. You only specify that, oh, this is my server, this is only what you can do, and you don't like give your server permission that are actually not required for it to perform its function. So you have to achieve this security in well-architected framework. You have to implement the principle of least privilege. Also is multi-factor authentication. This is you adding an extra layer of security by requiring multiple forms of verification. So when you implement this, it makes it possible for you to have extra level of security. When you get into your AWS environment accounts, you won't be using your username and password alone. You'll be using an extra layer of security. An example is having an authentication application on your phone, so that when you want to get into your workload or your architecture, when you insert in your username and password, it will ask you for you to use your authentication application to get into your workload. So that is adding an extra layer of security. Also is role-based access control. This is managing permission through roles. We have a concept in AWS called I am roles and policies. So I am roles is you establishing a communication channel between different services or different users or different resources from a user to a resources. So by specifying the permission, like I said, list privilege permission, by specifying this, you can once you like have a communication channel, you specify, okay, this is the permission that I want these resources to have to communicate with each other, and you implement the principle of least privilege that I talked about. Also, is design detective control. This is you logging and monitoring your AWS workload using AWS Cloud Trail. This is an AWS service that helps you to record your AWS API calls. So API is a concept in technology that makes it possible for softwares to be able to talk to each other. So all of the softwares online, every software uses API to communicate with each other. Different components of softwares use API to communicate with each other. We're actually using APIs on this call to broadcast this lecture to you. So API is an integral part of technology. So AWS Cloud Trail uses it is used to record API calls. So all the API calls that you have in your account, AWS API will help you record them, and it will specify that, oh, this service is actually talking to this was who went into this account and delete this instance. This was who put some files into this storage service. So that is the function of AWS Cloud Trail. Also is AWS Cloud Watch. This is for log monitoring and alerting. So you can use this to monitor your logs, because your services are generating logs, right? So when you use this, you can actually monitor the logs. You can actually create dashboard. You can actually create alerts. You can specify that, oh, when it is you can specify a threshold, and when it gets above that threshold, alert me. You can actually do that using AWS CloudWatch. It is an AWS service. Also, is AWS Guard Duty. This is an AWS service that helps you to continuously monitor the security on your AWS account. So it will help you detect malicious activities, and it will help you monitor unauthorized behavior. It actually uses AWS machine learning algorithm to monitor your account. So it will detect malicious activity and authorized behavior. It will be alerted once there is an authorized behavior or a malicious activity in your workload when you make use of this AWS service. Next slide, please. Also, a design principle under security is infrastructure protection. So for you to be able to achieve this infrastructure protection, you have to segment your network, and you can actually do this using your VPC, where you actually, when you create new VPC, it is possible for you to specify the port, the IP address that can actually get into that VPC. It is cloud technology makes it possible for you to be able to create a virtual network where you specify what can enter, what cannot get out, what can enter. It is possible for you to do that. So you have to implement this strategy. You have to segment your network for you to be able to achieve a well-architected framework in security. Also, is our security group and network access control. Both of them, we use them to define rules to control inbound and outbound traffic. So the security groups works on the instance level, while the network access control works on the subnet level. So when you use your security, you can actually say, oh, for this server, I want this traffic to get in, I want this traffic to get out. For your network, it works on the subnet level. Also is data protection. This is you protecting your data address using AWS keep management service, and ensuring your data in transit is encrypted using SSL and TLS. So for SSL, it means a secure socket layer, and for your TSL, it means a transport layer security. The function of these two is that when you send in your data, it is encrypted till when it gets to where you specify that it should get to. So it is encrypted. So when it gets to where you specify that for your traffic to get to it will be decrypted. So it will prevent on authorize people to, or authorize servers to get into the traffic that you are sending. Also is data handling policies. This is you implementing policies for data classification, handling, and policies. Like I was talking about the IAM policies and rules. You can actually set policies that would classify your data. You can actually set policies that would destroy your database. You can set it in your IAM policies. You can say, oh, next week I want you to delete all these storage services, and it will actually do that. And lastly, a design principle we'll be looking at is incident response. So this is you preparing, having a preparedness plan. This is you creating and practicing incident response plan to quickly address security incidents. So when you have this in place, whatever security incident happen, you actually know what to do. You won't just be running around, because you have a plan in place, and you've been practicing your incident response plan. So you'll be able to quickly address your security incident, because you already have a plan already in place, and you just have to adapt to the plan. And by adhering to the plan, you can quickly address your security incidents. Next slide, please. So we have a compliance benefit of the AWS framework. So the framework aligns with the common standards like GDPR, HIPAA, and PCDS. So for the GDPR, this means the General Data Protection Regulation. So this AWS has tools that help you to manage and protect personal data. For HIPAA, this is a Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. So AWS Well-Architected Security address many HIPAA security rule requirements. And lastly, PCIDS. This is PCIDSS. This is Payments Card Industry Data Security Standard. So when you AWS Well-Architected frameworks, they provide, under security, provide guidance on network design for you to design your network to align with your PCI DSS requirements. Also, is a built-in compliance control in AWS services. Like I was saying, we have so many AWS services that are the act as a compliance control. So many AWS services that they are built in, that their function is to act as a compliance control. We'll be looking at some of these AWS services going forward. Also is showcasing continuous compliance monitoring tools. So we also have so many AWS services that their job is to carry out continuous compliance monitoring. And lastly is as a benefit of compliance of the AWS Well-Architected Framework is this framework simplifies auditing process and reporting. So we have this AWS Well-Architected Framework security pillar simplifies auditing processes and reporting. So they make it very easy for you to understand what actually is going on in your workload or your architecture. They audit all processes, and they give you a comprehensive reporting, and you are able to see everything that is actually happening, and you understand everything perfectly. Next slide, please. So these are the services for compliance. These are some of the services for compliance checks in AWS. We have AWS config. So this is an AWS service that helps you to continuously monitor and record AWS resource configurations and allow you to automate the evaluation of recorded configuration and against desired configuration. So when you set this config, we have a concept in AWS config called rule. When you set a rule, or you create a rule. So when you create a rule, for that rule, if your resources or your workload goes against the rule that you specify, it will let you know that, oh, for the rule that you specified or your desired configuration, this service or this other service is actually going against this service that you already specified. It will allow you to let you know that, okay, you are not in compliance with that established rule that you already set. Also is AWS Audit Manager. Okay, the function of this is that it simplifies audit preparation by automating the collection of evidence, allowing you to continuously audit your AWS usage to ensure that you meet your compliance requirements. So when you use this AWS service, it will help you to audit your AWS usage, and to ensure that you meet your compliance requirements. This is also like AWS config, but there are some minor differences between the two. So like I said, it will help you to audit your AWS usage to ensure that you meet your compliance requirements that you already specified. And lastly, we'll be looking at AWS Security Hub. So the function of this is, it is an AWS service, like I said. So it provides you a comprehensive view of your security alert and compliance status across your AWS account. So when you make use of this AWS service, you'll be able to have a comprehensive view of everything happening security-wise on your AWS account. You'll be able to see everything. You'll be able to understand everything. It's like it gives you a detailed security alert and compliance status across your AWS account. Next slide, please. Sorry, please, next slide, please. Okay, I still can't see all the slides. Okay, maybe I should share the slide from here. Maybe that would be fine. I don't know if, okay, I think it is coming up. I'm sorry, sorry everyone for this. I'm sure the person who is in charge of sharing the slide is experiencing network issues, so it should be back very soon. Okay, since we are here to have our we are here to have the slide back. The next part of my presentation is to have a quick demo, and what I'll be doing is um, creating a custom AWS config rule and applying an automatic remediation. So AWS config rule, like I was saying, the primary function is to help you monitor and record AWS configuration, resource configurations, and allow you to automate the evaluation of recorded configuration against desired configuration. So I'll be sharing my screen now so that we can actually like go into an AWS account, and I'll be having a quick demo showing you how we can actually achieve this. So I want to share my screen now. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. So I want to share my screen now. Okay, please let me know if you can actually see my screen. Um, okay, I believe we can. You can actually see my screen. So, like I was saying, for this part of the for this demo, we'll be using AWS, having a quick introduction into AWS config. So it is, like I said, a compliance AWS tool. So we'll be looking at it together. And we'll be trying to create a customized custom config group. Okay, so this is the dashboard of AWS config. So can you see tools? It is actually saying that we have for on these accounts that I'm currently using for this demo, we have 86 non-compliance rules. I don't know why it is okay. I think it is actually my network. I can't actually scroll up. Maybe because it is still loading. Okay. For this part of this demonstration, what we actually want to do is to create um, a config group. So, like I was saying, different different business industry you are in. So, if you are in maybe in the banking industry, you can actually create a compliance that says, oh, for my EC2 instance, these are the rules that we make use of in this my organization. And maybe you employ a new developer that goes into your account to create an EC2 instance. Once that person creates that EC2 instance, because of the compliance that you have already established, it will actually flag it that, oh, these are the rules that govern you creating an EC2 instance in this application. So different industries, they have their own compliance. Maybe some who are in the financial services, maybe they set up rules to say that, oh, for these storage services, we want it to be deleted once it is after 24 hours. So when you set these rules, it will actually tell you that, oh, this bucket is over 24, this storage service is over 24 hours, and you can actually set remediation that will actually delete the bucket immediately once it is over 24 hours. You can actually set rules based on your organization and based on your business requirements. So we actually do this in Secure Intelligence Limited. You can like Ienu said, you can reach out to us to help you specify this. You can actually like create automations that are for whatever your business requirement, for whatever you want in your architecture. We can actually help you create rules that your resources must adapt to, and if they don't adapt to it, it will actually flag it. Or you can actually even have remediation embedded in these rules that would say, oh, once this resource or this operation or this process is not compliant, okay, this is what you should do. And we'll be looking at having a quick demo for me to demonstrate this now. So I'll be creating a rule. So can you see all the rules that are already created? Can you see this restricted SSH is telling us that we have 4 non-compliant resources, and if we select this restricted SSH, it will actually show us what the rule is that we already specified. Okay, let's try to open this rule and see what it is saying. So this rule is saying that this rule checks the security groups that are in this accounts that are in use to disallow unrestricted incoming SSH traffic. So what this rule is doing is that it is checking all the security groups that are present on this account to see that, okay, maybe they are unrestricted incoming SSH traffic. And you can see it is actually saying that, oh, these are the security groups that are not compliant in this AWS account. And we can actually set the remediation. Like I said, you can actually say, okay, remediate this. You can actually specify what it should do when you set up the remediation. So once it detects that, oh, a security group has unrestricted SSH traffic, incoming traffic. Okay, maybe delete the security group, maybe block the security group. You can actually establish that. Okay, so I'll be going back to our rules now. So like I was saying, you can actually create the rules. Like I showed us, this is an example of a compliant. This is for this rule. For this rule, it is saying that okay, this rule is compliant. It is saying that it is compliant. Okay, can you see? These are the compliance ones here. So this rule is saying that auto scaling large config public IP disabled. So this is actually compliant based on this rule. So I'll be creating a rule now. I'll be adding a rule now for this demonstration. So to specify rules, we have AWS manage rules. So these are rules created by AWS themselves for you to set up your compliance. So we can also create custom Lambda rules where you specify based on your requirement. Like I was saying that CIL Intelligence Limited can help you actually create compliance rule that once this service or this process goes against that rule that we already established, we can actually set it to notify you. You can actually create an SNS topic that will email you immediately once anything is not compliant based on that rule that we already specified or we already set up. So this is AWS custom Lambda rule. For this AWS manage rule, it is pretty straightforward. There are so many managed rules here. Can you see that? Access key rotated. So when you specify this rule, it will help you check that if your access keys are rotated. These are rules that are already established by AWS. So you can't actually tweak them. They are managed AWS rules. They are already specified. But for this custom creating custom, you can actually use custom Lambda rule. You can create a Lambda function. You can also create custom rule using guard custom policies that will help you to create a rule. So for this sake of this demonstration, I'll be creating a custom Lambda rule because I said this is based on what this is a demo based on what I actually feel like creating. So we can like I said, this is when you engage us, we can actually help you implement whatever security requirement that you want. You can actually say that if anybody gets into this S3 buckets, storage S3 bucket is AWS storage service where you can actually store any type of data. So if you can actually specify that if anybody gets into these buckets, okay, log that person out. You can actually create a custom rule that would do that. And once a resource is not in compliance with that, it will say, this is not in compliance with the rule that they already specified, and you can actually create remediation like I've been saying. So for this demonstration sake, I'll be selecting creating custom rule. Okay, so I'll be naming my custom rule. I'll be naming my custom rule demo security security and compliance. I can actually name it anything, but let me name it demo security compliance security. That's what I want to name my demo. Okay, so as you can see, we can actually give it a description on what the rule is going to do. And as you can see here, this is saying that AWS Lambda function here. And so for us to be able to use this custom rule, we have to create a Lambda function. So Lambda function is Lambda function is an offering in AWS that makes it possible for you to create a function that reacts. So when based on events, so it's a serverless service in AWS where you don't have to manually manage your servers. AWS is going to manage it for you. So what the function of AWS Lambda function is to react based on a condition, based on a trigger. So that's what AWS the function of AWS Lambda. So like you can see, this Lambda function is actually asking for a Lambda ARN. What ARN means is okay, So this is a Amazon resource number. So that's the meaning of ARN. So all of the services on AWS, if I can actually remember correctly, maybe Amazon resource name or number. I can't. I'm mixing it up right now. But so all of the services on AWS, they all have they have this ARN. So it is this box is asking us for the ARN of the function that we create. So we are going to go ahead and create a Lambda function now. So okay, tab. So I'll be showing my Lambda function now. Okay, I'm coming. Okay. I suppose you can actually see my Lambda function tab now. So I want to create a new function. So I want to create a new function from this scratch. So I want to name this my Lambda function, my Lambda compliance. So that's what I want to name this my Lambda function. I want to use Python Python version 3.12 as the runtime of this my Lambda function. Okay, so I want to create a new role with a basic Lambda permission. That's what I want to do. So I'll be creating this my Lambda function right now. So this is my Lambda function of I'm going to configure my Lambda function now. Like I said, so a Lambda function makes it possible. It's like a server that reacts based on the condition or a trigger. So when you set up a trigger, it will say, oh, this function, this code, this application should run at this software or an application to run based on this trigger or this event. So you can actually use event bridge to trigger your Lambda. You can actually use HTTP protocol to trigger your Lambda function. So I'll be putting in my Lambda code. I already wrote a Lambda code for the sake of this presentation. So I'll be applying my Lambda code into this Lambda function I created. So what this Lambda function is going to do is to check if if the CEC2 instance on this account are compliant, and if they are not compliant, it is going to check the compliance. And when I say compliance, what it is actually going to check, it is going to check if we enable detailed monitoring on all the servers that we have on this account. And if they are not enabled, it will actually say, oh, these servers are not compliant to this rule that we specified. And once it checks that all the servers are not compliant, it will actually enable detailed monitoring so that we can actually see all the details, all the CloudWatch details. Like I said, CloudWatch is a monitoring tool that helps us to check all what we have running on the cloud. So this is my Lambda function. So I will deploy this my Lambda function like this. Okay, and I also need to configure test events. So I'll be doing this. So for the sake of this presentation, I'll be going to my I'll be going to my coming. Okay, I'm coming. Configuration. Let me go to the general configuration. Okay, I'm going to my general configuration, and the default time timeout of Lambda function is 3 minutes, and this Lambda code is going to run more than 3 minutes. I can just specify maybe 2 minutes for it to run. So when it is over 2 minutes, it can actually stop. So I want to edit this to increase the timeout to 2 minutes. So that is what I just did. And I'll be going to my okay, I'll be going to my permission. We have to edit the permission of this Lambda function, the role that this Lambda function created at the beginning when I was creating the Lambda function. So I'll be going into this permission, and I'll be adding more policies to this Lambda function for it to be able to carry out what we intend for it to carry out. So I'll be sharing this tab instead. So this is AWS IAM interface. So I'll be going to my role, and I'll be creating a new role. I'll be calling this my new role. Yes, it is an AWS service. For this use case, I'll be searching for systems manager. So this is the AWS service that is going to make it possible for us to do what we want to achieve. So I'll be clicking next. So I'll be adding the required permissions for it to actually carry out this operation. I'll be adding CloudWatch full access to this as a permission to this role. Like I said, IAM role is establishing communication between different AWS resources. So that is one. So I'll be adding others. I'll be adding Amazon EC2 full access. So this is because this is what we are trying to do is related to AWS EC2 rather. So okay. Okay, so let me actually put in my name, put in a name for my role. Oh, I don't know, my system is no more responding. Okay, let me call this AWS AWS EC2 detailed monitoring. So okay, so that is what I want to name my role. Let me put in role there. But time is fast spent. I'm actually trying to like rush up this presentation. So let me. That is what I want to name my role, and I'll be adding more permissions to it. Okay. Let me search for my. Okay, this is the role I just created. Let me add more permissions to it. Okay, I want to attach more permissions to my role. Okay, so I want to add EC2. Okay, EC2 full access. I want to add it to. Okay. Okay, I think I still have other rules that I actually want to add. Oh wow, I don't think we don't have enough time to. I don't think we have enough time to finish this. Okay, okay. So I have to add this, and lastly, AWS full cloud trail. Trail coming. Cloud trail, I think it should be the network. I don't know. It should come up. I don't know why it is not coming up. There's another AWS role that I actually need to. Okay, all true. I don't know why it is not coming up. It should come up. Okay, we can actually all true. Don't know why it is not coming up. It should come up. It actually came up when I was trying out. Okay. It is my. I was Yeah. I think because I was rushing. I was meant to like search for it somewhere else. Okay, I was meant to search for it here. Okay, so this is it. So this is the last policy we are adding to our rule. So once we have this, so we go back to the lambda function that we were creating. So yeah, okay, no. So we go back um to our functions, yeah, functions here. Right? So we go back to the config that we were creating. Okay, I thought it actually opened on another tab. Oh, okay. Okay, let me create the rule again. The custom rule again. Okay, let me put the name I was trying to. Okay, okay. Let me put in the lambda function I just created. Okay, so I'll create my rule now. Okay, configuration changes. Yeah, I'll select this. Okay, I'll see for resource, I'll specify AWS resource, I'll specify EC2 because we want to enable detailed monitoring on all the EC2 instance that we have. Yeah, okay, that is that. So I'll click next. This is asking me to, okay, so I actually need to do something. I need to go to my to give this my config permission to be able to invoke the lambda function. So I'll be going to my the so okay. I can't actually. Oh, I'm very sorry for this. Okay, I'm coming. Actually opened. Coming. Okay, my compliance. Yeah, another compliance. Okay, I'm actually. Yeah, I'm trying to watch this. Okay, so that is, I believe everything's fine from here. Okay, yeah, okay. Yes, so my rule is ready now. So what it is going to do is that my rule is going to like check all the EC2 instance that we have, and it is going to make sure that for all the instances that we have, once detailed monitoring is not enabled, it will ensure once there's an EC2 instance that is not in compliance with this rule, it will make it to be compliance. I'm very sorry I can't actually like show us. Actually, we have very little time left. So that will be the end of my presentation today. Okay. Okay. Please kindly bring up the slides. So let me see the slides, please. So I also want to look at building robust to build robust, secure and compliant cloud architecture. We have to implement continuous monitoring and set up incident response from the beginning. We have to integrate the design principle that I walked us through, implement um, uh, implement implement least privileged access, so for us to build robust, secure, and compliant cloud architecture. So that will be the end of my presentation today. I'll be taking questions if there are questions for me to answer. So thank you everybody for joining me on this presentation.
Thank you very, very much, Moshood, for that very insightful and thorough presentation. Hope we all saw the demo that Moshood shared with us. These are some of the things that we do at Secure Intelligence Limited to help make sure that your architecture is compliant, basically. So you can if you need a well architected review, while your guys, you can come to us and more of this can be done. We're happy that you already have a preview of what we can do for you. More of this can be done for you, and more ways to enhance your security can be done, and you can help you check that out. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to put it in the question and answer section so Moshe can take these questions before we end the webinar. So Moshood, there's
Yeah.
one question for you.
Okay.
What do you think are some common security challenges organizations face when using AWS, and how do you think the well-architected framework can address them?
Okay, thank you for that question. Like I was saying at the beginning, I said, I think when I was talking about the verticals in AWS Well-Architected Framework, when I said the first vertical is to learn the best practices. So most organizations, what they face is that they do actually know the best practices to when they are designing, when they are deploying, when they are operating their workload on the cloud. So firstly, they have to like understand all these best practices. So when they do understand all these best practices, they have to like measure their architecture against these best practices. And once they find out issues, they have to like make corrections. So this is how an organization can have a very secure workload on the cloud. I don't know if that answers your question, or maybe there is more to it. I couldn't get all of your questions.
That Yes, that answers the question. Thank you very much, Moshood. Thank you for answering that question. I want to say thank you again to everyone who has joined us today. There has been a calendar link that has been repeatedly posted in the question and answer section. This is to book a consultation meeting with myself. So if you think that you have any questions or you even want to know more about our service offerings, it's not just focusing on this particular webinar, please reach out to me. I'm always happy to help. I'm always happy to take consultation calls, and I'm always happy to educate you more on what you think you need to know or answer your questions. We are well-architected partners here at Secure Intelligence Limited. We're well-architected partners with AWS, which means that we can help you make sure that your architecture matches up to best practices continuously. We can help you keep checking, we can help you keep remediating, we can help you keep fixing your high risk issues when you come to us. While your guys, please try and make us your plug. And we can do this with our CIL support. Please come to us if you need a well-architected review. We will be happy to help you with that. We are also There's also some little incentives, little nice things that come with the services that we provide. We can help you get up to $5,000 in AWS credit. Yes, $5,000 in AWS credit. That is quite large, I know. So if you come to get a well-architected review with us, or you want to get remediated, we can help you when you meet the terms and conditions to access at least $5,000 in AWS credit. So please, guys, join us and work with us to make sure that your environment is well architected and matches all CIS best practices. Thank you for joining us today. You know we love you and we are always happy to have you. Thank you. You can connect with us on all our social media platforms. On Instagram, we are @still_teams. On LinkedIn, we are Secure Intelligence. On Twitter or X, we are @still_teams. On Facebook, we are still teams. On YouTube, if you want to get a recording of this particular webinar or any of the webinars on our well-architected series or any other webinars we have had in the past, you can go to YouTube at www.youtube.com/still_teams, and you will find everything that you need there. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate you joining us, and we will be waiting for you to join us again next week. Bye.